Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the first USF Encounter podcast. I'm your host, Brant Singler, the multimedia editor, and we got 3 stories for you today that are written by your own USF students, one of them being myself, another one Trinity Newell, and the other one Joe Madeja. And first story we got is the new softball coach here at USF. Her name is Alyssa Moreno. Alyssa Moreno used to be a student here at USF. She graduated in 2022 and got her master's in 2024. And after her 2022 final year of the season, she decided to step into the grad assistant role, and she was there until 2024. And now, the year after, the former head coach, Amanda Jensen was her name, the head coach, Amanda Jensen. She was the head coach before Alyssa Moreno. She put in her resignation due to personal reasons of her own, which, none of our business. And, Dave Lucchetta, the athletic director, had to put together a little squad to hire a new softball coach, a head softball coach. This squad that he put together, this board, included himself, Dave Lucchetta, also the athletic director, and also Kara Courier. She is the assistant athletic director, and Isabella Landros, a player on the USF softball team, and Jessica Mana, she is the athletics representative of the University of St. Francis. And they settled with Alyssa because of her interviews. Dave told me that he trusted her, and she was one of the finalists. And he talked about how she wanted to bring up the program from cardio to fitness, and also her first 30, 60, 90-day plan. He was really excited to see what she was going to be able to bring to the program with that. And the consistency of the program was great under Amanda Jensen and everything. And Alyssa had been a part of that for 6 years, 2 or 4 as a student and player, and then 2 as a grad assistant, and now a head coach. Dave also told me that he believes that she's going to be able to, step out of that player and friend role and assistant coach role into the head coach role. He talked to her about this 18-inch rule where you move 18 inches from which is 18 inches of a chair, he said. 18 inches is usually the width of a chair. And he said that she was able to move from, the player aspect of being a player chair, moving to her next chair as a grad assistant, as an assistant coach, and from that chair onto the head softball coach at the University of St. Francis. I got the chance to talk to Alyssa Moreno herself, and she told me that one of my questions to her was, with the success and excellent year they had last year with Amanda Jensen, do you have any plans on to build off that success? And if so, what do you plan on changing, if anything? And she said trying new things, not necessarily with the program, but she wants to move things around, and she also wants to add a new, younger approach to the game itself. She said that, a younger mindset, a younger approach, but stick to their roots of what they used to do. You got to remember where you built up from and where you came from, and she wants to stick to that, but take it with a younger approach, a younger twist, she says. She also, talking to head coach Moreno, I talked to her about the transition and how she feels, if she feels comfortable, if, she's excited and everything like that. She told me that, it could have gone any better, being a player, learning the program as a player, learning what they do, how they act, how everything goes. She feels that, knowing the program that way, and then how to hold yourself on a team, and then taking that into being a graduate assistant, and then being a graduate assistant for 2 years, allowing her to distance herself from the players, but still being able to take on to that coaching role with more responsibilities. She feels that, with those responsibilities, she was able to learn and, step into that head coaching role herself. She feels really comfortable. She's really excited, and she's really looking forward to the season. And going off of that, we were curious, how the softball team was going to go, with what former head coach Jensen passed down to Alyssa Moreno. What's the next step with the softball team? All we really do know is that, Coach Moreno, she's got big shoes to fill at the University of St. Francis, and we're really excited to see what she can do up and coming this spring season. And that's all we got on the new head coach, Alyssa Moreno, for the USF softball. And now we're going to turn it over to Trinity Newell, and I'm going to talk to her about, the homecoming preview, what we got for homecoming coming up. And then after that, we're going to talk to Joe Mudeja, and we're going to talk about, our president, Arvid Johnson. He's plans to leave. So we're going to talk to him about his interview with Arvid, and we have a clip of him interviewing Arvid, and we're going to go into that right after that. So we're going to turn it over, and we're going to talk to Trinity Newell and talk to her about, homecoming. And welcome back to the Encounter podcast. I'm Brant Singler, and I'm here with Trinity, and we're talking about the homecoming week, what to expect, and all activities for students to enjoy. So, Trinity, how are you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing good. So, first question, what should students expect to see for homecoming week coming up soon?
Yeah, so homecoming week is going to be very exciting. Officially, it's from the 22nd to the 29th. It's that whole week, from that Sunday to Sunday. But for the school year, well, if it's school week, I guess it would be that Monday through that Friday, the 23rd through the 27th, 29th, 28th for the homecoming game. So first off, student life has a lot of stuff going on. SAB, clubs, BSA, Rec Club, everybody has something going on. I know to kick off that week, BSA and Rec Club are doing a collaborative event. They're doing paintball that Sunday. Yeah, their sign-up just opened. The deadline for that sign-up, I believe, is the 23rd.
Okay.
Not the 23rd. It's on the 22nd. So I'm sorry. Not the 23rd. The sign-up is the end of this week. So the week before homecoming would be the sign-up end date. But they will be going on that event. And spots always open up like day of because people end up dropping out and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Free ticket as long as you're a St. Francis student. So obviously go. Make sure, you're having a good time. But as far as that week goes, SAB, which is really interesting because, traditionally SAB runs homecoming week, like how they run welcome week with like the food trucks and the little events that they do. But this year they decided to take an alternative approach. So instead of SAB covering the whole week, they will give each club a day to run.
Oh.
So Rec Club, will have a day. BSA will have a day. SAB will still have a day.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure what the other clubs are featuring are. They're trying to keep it a surprise for the homecoming week.
Yeah.
They want us to be, shocked or whatever.
Yeah.
But I know that BSA, they're going to end up doing something during the day, something light. I know SAB is planning on doing food trucks in a party. Like kind of like a pre-tailgate before the actual tailgate.
What can we expect for food trucks? Do they have that locked in yet? Or
so I cannot say. They wouldn't tell me either.
Oh, dang.
Yeah,
okay.
They wouldn't tell me either. But I know they normally have good food trucks. I know last year they had like a Mexican food truck was really, really good. Last year they had Auntie Anne's during the week, during the day. Yeah. They had Cream and Crunch, like the ice cream. So they come out with like cool stuff. So I'm excited to see what they're gonna do. And apparently this was have like 3 or 4 of them. So it's supposed to be like a whole thing. Also, they're going to be having a DJ. DJ Creed will be here on the 27th from 6 to 8:30 or 6:30 to 8. In the quad, that's where they like to have parties here.
Mm-hmm.
And besides that, every club will have a day that they're going to be doing something during the week. And I think it's like going to be a refreshing change for for the Saints, for the school even, because it's like you'll be able to walk out of class and be able to do something. Yeah. There's rumors that BSA was going to have like go-karts. I'm not sure if you're familiar with like the back to school barbecue, but they have like go-karts that have like a little trail, like they go through like the quad and they come out they come around like the Pat Sullivan, and like they have like a little trail that they do. So I know they're supposed to have like 3 or 4 go-karts out there like during the day, like in between class, like race your friend real fast, do something real quick in your little 20 minutes.
I imagine they'd have to close off the streets, or is it on the sidewalks?
It's on the sidewalks.
Oh, it's on the sidewalks.
So it's
okay.
So it's like when I say go-kart, it's more like more like a tricycle.
Oh, okay. All right.
But it is still fun. It is still fun. They it's not like set up like a tricycle, but it's basically a tricycle. It has wheels, but you're able to like to steer it. You're able to like, it looks like a race car. It's really cool. So come out.
So students walking on the sidewalks, they better watch out. People are going to be speeding by.
Yeah, be safe. Keep your head on the swivel if you see the BSA if you see the BSA go-karts out there on that day, because they will be doing that. But a lot of jam-packed fun stuff during the week,
it sounds like there's something happening every day.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
That would be really cool. So for homecoming, obviously a lot of people look forward to the football game and everything. Do you want to talk about that? Do you know who we're playing and everything?
Yeah, so for our homecoming game, we're gonna be playing not St. X. I wish we were playing St. X. We played St. X last year.
Yeah, I do remember that.
Yeah, we are going to be playing Indiana Wesleyan. There you go.
Indiana Wesleyan.
And
Okay.
Indiana Wesleyan.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure how their team is looking, but I know the Saints are hot.
Yeah.
The Saints are hot.
Yeah, I mean, I had to be in charge of the halftime and postgame show for this last weekend against LT, Lawrence Tech. And, they started off pretty slow, but, once in that second half came, they started out with a bang. So
yeah, I was down there with a bullhorn. I'm an avid football fan. I love homecoming, which is why I was excited to do the story. I love homecoming. I love homecoming games. In St. Francis, I feel like we do a pretty good tailgate. I feel like we do a pretty good homecoming game. Like, regardless win or lose, they fight to the end. You know what I mean? Especially like their last year game was so devastating.
That was tough.
Yeah, and I feel like that just built up all the, like, not all, but a lot of the anticipation for this year's game, because we're looking for them to, redeem themselves almost.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying like the team is looking for like redemption, because I don't think they feel that way, because they've been like I said, the Saints are hot. So I feel like they've been doing their big one, but from a fan standpoint, it's like, okay, like last homecoming game, y'all broke my heart. So what are you guys about to do?
And I'm pretty sure it's a lot of because there's a lot of like veterans on this football team. I believe Sam Tumulty is his last year, correct? And I imagine he would like to go out with a bang for his last homecoming game and want to lead the Saints to a last victory for homecoming. So
and they have a lot of talent on the team too. A lot of stories to come to fruition. Like Ryan Little, he's coming off an injury. This is like kind of a little comeback season. He had a good game last game against Lawrence Tech. So we're gonna be looking at him. A lot of people to look at. Nicky Franciscovich, Defensive Player of the Week during the first week. He had a heck of a game. Didn't he have like a sack this last game too?
I believe so. Yeah, he had one.
He's somebody to look at. You have a lot of people to look at, and like that's not even like seasoned vets. Like Nicky, he's a junior, or a sophomore, and Joey Tumulty, of course, he's been coming through the gates running since he's been here freshman year. The Tumultys, all three of them, Scott, Sam, Joey, a lot of people, and even like some on the defensive side are like less stat people, like my friends, my personal people, Robbie, Athanasius, like they be the O-line, D-line. They're important too. Defense wins championships. Defense wins games. Yeah. So they be.
I know a lot. Last game, the announcers were talking about Pat Strosha a lot, and the D line like stuff in the running game for Lawrence Tech a lot, and well, hopefully they come out with a win this homecoming.
Yeah, but the tailgate will be fun. Either way, the tailgate will be fun. Regardless, win or lose, the game is gonna be fun. The tailgate is always a time. Ministry always makes like their mocktails. They're really, really good. They always have like some food out. They have tents. They have all the good St. Francis characters and alumni. Just homecoming, just like celebrating the school, celebrating being a Saint, celebrating all that. Yeah,
for our listeners, make sure you guys go to the tailgate for the homecoming game, and expect a lot coming out for homecoming week with all the tailgates and food trucks and all that going to be happening, the go-karts in the quad and everything. And thank you for listening. We're going to turn over to Joe Madeja's interview with Arvid Johnson, our president, and see what's going to happen with the future of our school.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for agreeing to do this interview with me. Firstly, could you just explain your position after retirement and like why you retired? Because I know I got the wrong information on you becoming a member of the Board of Trustees, but you're becoming an advisor.
No, actually, the reality is retirement is something that folks do all the time, okay? And a lot of times what happens is when folks leave one position, they go on and take something else. In my case, I'm going into a true retirement. And the board simply asked if I could still be available to be a resource for the board and or the new president. Because depending upon who we get, they may or may not be available prior to June 1st to kind of do a transition. And if I disappear June 1st and then they come in, there's no transition. This way, I'll be a resource to the new president if they need me, and if they don't, they don't. So that's all.
Alrighty. So when June 1st comes, and if they don't have someone, you'll take the position back until they find someone during the school year?
No, I'm gone. They would
You're
probably
gone?
do an interim appointment at that
Okay.
time. Yeah.
Alrighty.
No, I am retiring.
Okay. Alrighty. I know, I think it was last Thursday, 2 people came in and talked to students and faculty. I think I wasn't able to go to that Q&A session. Do you know if you guys are hiring internally or externally, and like how does that look like?
All of that is under the purview of the Presidential Search Committee, which I'm not a part of.
Okay, so
I have no role in
Okay.
bringing in the new president or recruiting the new president. I might meet with them as they do an interview as a candidate. But what last Thursday was all about was Academic Search, which is the national search firm that the board has engaged to conduct it, met with the members of the Presidential Search Committee. They met with representatives of the faculty, staff. I know they had a student meeting. They had a general open meeting to find out what characteristics they would like in the next president.
Okay.
Because part of what their next step is going to be is to generate, let's call it a job description, and publish that to attract candidates that the Presidential Search Committee can then evaluate to determine who they would like to bring onto campus as finalists for an interview, probably sometime early next year. I believe that they're hoping to make an announcement in January or February,
Okay.
which is about the time they made the announcement for me back in 2013.
With you completely retiring, possibly helping the board, what would you just be like an advisor for the board, or like would they use you as like a source since you were the president of the university? Like what would your role on the board
Well,
look
one
like?
of the important things for a former president to do is get out of the way of the next person, and I don't intend to be in their way. Okay, I tend to be there available if they have a phone call, if they have a question about a donor or something. But otherwise, you stay out of the way because it's important for them to put their stamp on the university and get to know it. I just, because I will be around, if the board calls for the question, I'll be happy to answer a question. But I'm there more as a resource for the new president than the board. I think the board said I've agreed to continue to advise them. Well, I've been doing that for 12 years, so that's all it means.
And that's our interview with Joe Madeja on our president, Arvid. Here are some final words from Arvid about the future of our school and how this university has a promising future.
One thing that I understand was discussed by the search firm last Thursday is the great opportunity that this is for the university. We have not done a presidential search for 12 years. A lot of universities do more often because the average tenure president is somewhere between 3 and 5 years. So some schools, unfortunately, get pretty good at doing searches. Others don't have that much experience. But this is an opportunity for the university to decide what the characteristics are and who they would like to help lead it into the future. So it's an exciting time. And I hope that folks will participate in the process to the extent that they can.
And that is all we have today for the Encounter Podcast. I hope you all enjoyed our first episode of the Encounter Podcast. And make sure to follow all our socials at USF_Encounter on Twitter and Instagram, and USF Encounter 1 on Facebook. Also make sure to stop by the Encounter office to pick up your own edition of the USF Encounter. Our next episode will release on October 29th, along with the next edition of the USF Encounter. See you guys next time.